Hello out there to you. We've got some review questions about a perfectly competitive firm and perfectly competitive graph model. The reason I know this is perfectly competitive is that the marginal revenue curve is perfectly horizontal. It's right at 16, so that tells us that the price in the market is 16 because the firm has to take whatever the market price is. And plus, they also tell us it's perfectly competitive. How much is the economic profit or loss to the firm? So what we need to do is find the profit maximizing quantity. And where does that go? That is where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So let's start on the marginal cost curve and follow that up to where it hits marginal revenue. It hits it at 17, so we're going to produce a quantity of 17, and we're going to multiply that to get our total revenue. 17 times the price that we're going to sell it at is 16. So our total revenue is 272. So 272. And then how much does it cost us to produce that? So we're going to follow that quantity to where the average total cost curve is. So follow that. In this case, it goes up. So that's going to be up at 23. So actually, the loss here is the area of this purple rectangle here. So that's the difference there. And it's so you could do it a couple ways. You could also calculate 17 times 23. That would give us the total cost. 17 times 23, that would be 391. It's going to be negative because this firm is earning a loss. Or we could say 23 to 16, so they lose $7 on each product. So it would be 7 times 17, and that would be 119. So they're going to suffer a loss of 119. Okay. What is the temporary shutdown point? Okay, so this is going to be found by finding the quantity where the price equals average variable cost. This is known as the shutdown rule. So we're just going to find where marginal cost and average variable cost intersect, which is right here. That's at their minimum. So that would be at a price of 11. That's not really asking what the it's not an answer to that. The quantity for that would be 14. Then let's see what the other question is. What is the economic loss at that point? Okay, and so we'll find if the price is 11, we want to go all the way up there. We don't have a number, okay? But it's really the same as, we don't have a number based on that, but it's the same as the fixed cost. So to calculate the fixed cost, it's the difference between the average total cost and the average variable cost. That gives you the average fixed cost, and then you can multiply that by the quantity, and that'll give you your fixed cost. So that's the answer to that. So let's do that really quick. So we'll use 17 because that's where we got the two numbers there that we know. So our average total cost when the quantity is at 17 is 23. Our average variable cost at that quantity is 12. That means our average fixed cost is the difference. So the average fixed cost is 11. And then if I want the fixed cost, I just need to multiply 11 times 17. Okay, and I should be able to do that in my head, but I can't. So I'm going to, oh, actually it's like 181 or something like that. Oops. And so 181. Well, good thing I used a calculator. It's 187. Okay, and so the loss here is the same as the fixed cost, which would be 187. And then finally, what will happen to market demand, market supply, and equilibrium price in the long run? Well, demand, we don't really know. We don't have enough information to say that, but we do know that market supply is going to decrease. And that's going to cause an increase in the equilibrium price. And in the long run, we're going to have a case where price is going to equal the average total cost. And that, of course, will happen at its minimum. and that's also the place where marginal cost intersects with the average total cost and where marginal revenue also intersects. So this is sometimes known as the long run condition for a perfectly competitive firm. That's how to do it based on a graph. You can redo it with a different type of graph, but that's how to review for perfectly competitive markets and firms.